Hello, welcome to the GoCharting after-market analysis station as usual. This is an after-market analysis station. Here, after the Indian market closes, we look at where and how things happened in Nifty and Bank Nifty today, where the buyer's interest was, where the seller's interest was, and basically try to read the footprint better. We also try to look at the volume profile. So if you are new and want to learn how to use GoCharting effectively, and want to learn GoChart order flow well, you can join this live session every day at 5 p.m. The links for this live session are uploaded on the GoCharting Discord community and Telegram community before 5 p.m. And secondly, if you are using GoCharting, the webinar link is uploaded right here in the notifications on the chart itself. Another thing is that GoCharting is launching its YouTube channel in almost every language. If you are French, then there's a separate one for French. If Hindi, then a separate one for Hindi. And if English, then a separate one for English. The links to all those channels are given in the description. You can go and join, subscribe, and there's also a 30% discount for Holi going on right now, which you can see here. You will get 30% from March 15th to April 7th. So let's watch today's live session. Let's see today's market, where and how things happened, before reading the order flow, before looking at the footprints. Let's take a look at the volume profile once, to see what confirmations we had from yesterday's volume profile, which helped us draw all these lines. The tick size for Nifty here is 180. Okay, 180. So if I cut today's market, okay, so these are our levels for today. For quite a few days, Nifty was also in a consolidation zone here. Stayed for 34 days, and again tried to break that consolidation zone on the upside, but there was a breakout failure on the downside, and it came back down. So, the combined volume profile of several sessions here was giving us a solid confirmation. What was it giving? That there are two big volume nodes here, this one and the other. One, the value area high and value area low. If we look at yesterday's volume profile, there was a volume node here, which we marked. And the third confirmation was that the market stayed here for 2 days, and also stayed here for 2 days. And its combined volume node was coming out, this one. So we mark these levels like this. Now we will see on these levels, where we got confirmations on the order flow for today. Okay, this line. We had marked that. If we get some confirmation from the order flow here, only then will we follow this line, otherwise we won't. Now, let's take an in-depth and comprehensive look at the specific locations where these events took place and the precise manner in which they unfolded. We will thoroughly explore the circumstances surrounding these occurrences and delve into the sequence of actions that led to the current situation. Our goal is to ensure that we understand every aspect clearly and completely, leaving no detail overlooked. Okay. Before reading the footprint, we should know what delta is. Why should we know about delta now? Because with the help of delta, we will try to read the footprint here. So, what is this delta? Delta 1 is quite simple. Delta tells us who is more dominant within a particular candle, whether it's the buyers or the sellers. For example, if we look at the delta of the first candle, it is around negative 70,000. Okay, it's around 71K, which means it is negative from the top in the red box. Negative always indicates the sellers. So, the delta of this candle is negative 70,000, so it simply means that within this particular candle, there are more sellers. How many more? Around 70,000 more sellers. As compared to buyers, meaning, if we take a round calculation, like 1,70,000, were sold within this candle. And how many buyers were there? 1 lakh. So who was more? The sellers were more. By how much? 70,000 more. This delta has shown us here. Secondly, let's take this candle. What is the delta of this candle? Positive data. How is it positive? There is no negative sign above in the green, so it means positive delta. What does a positive delta indicate? A positive delta shows us the stance of buyers here, just as a negative delta indicates the sellers. A positive delta notes the buyers. The delta has simply summarized for the buyers that within this particular candle, there are more buyers. And how many more? Around 43,000, indicating that there are more buyers. For instance, if there are 100,000 sellers, then approximately 143,000 buying has occurred here. So that means who is more in this candle? There are more buyers. And how many more? The delta came out to be 43,000 more. Now, what this delta does is it gives us the essence of a particular candle, indicating who is more powerful within this candle. Who is more, buyer or seller? The same delta tells us. So let's see how we will use the delta of candles. For example, there are some candles with very low delta, like 2008, 4009, 3001. And there are some candles whose delta is very heavy, like 70,000, 40,000, 32,000, again 40,000. So we have seen two types of delta here. Right now, not talking about positive or negative separately, there are some candles of the same type that have a very heavy delta, okay, 70,000, 40,000, and some candles that have very low data, 8,004, 3,002, 1,000. There is a difference between these two candles, where there is a large delta. Okay, you can say that one particular thing is quite strong. Either the sellers are very strong or the buyers are very strong. Okay, and where one particular thing is stronger. Either the buyers will be strong or the sellers will be strong. That's where more money would have moved around, and those are the things that drive our market, where there is more selling or more buying. And these candles that have very low data do not have any strong presence inside them. If I say that there were more sellers in this candle, then somewhere it can predict the market's direction of selling. And if I say that inside this candle, there are neither buyers nor sellers, so it means that this neutral candle is a normal candle. Nothing specific happened inside this that could clearly indicate the direction. So in Nifty, we will pick those candles whose delta is around 30 or above, whether it's on the positive side or the negative side. Okay, the delta of the first candle is always quite high, so observe it very carefully. And even if you do, trade very cautiously, because if you analyze the last few sessions, there is a lot of negative delta, but the market reverses. There is a lot of buying, but the market reverses. And sometimes those buying and selling zones don't work for the first candle. Okay, now let's look at the delta of the first candle. Around 70,000 selling occurred. So here the delta indicated that there are more sellers within this candle. Which side is the seller's side? The left side is the buyer's side, multiplied by the right side buyer. And the left side is the seller. So who is more? The sellers are more. Now let's read the seller's side and see which particular point has the most selling. Okay, like the selling at 63K happened the most here. The second is the selling at 36K, meaning this is the particular zone where the most selling occurred. It was a support zone. And this is the zone where the most selling happened. This is the zone. Now let's see how this zone worked. Okay, there were more sellers. We read the seller's side. This was the place where the most selling activity occurred. The next candle again had a good negative delta, around 30K. Reading this is easiest with the footprint, as only 4 footprints were made in the 180K tick size. So there are more sellers. Looking at the seller's side, where did the most selling activity happen? Here at 43K, there was also selling activity. Look, no other place had such powerful sellers. Okay, the first candle also had this selling activity. The second candle also had this selling activity, and this is one value area low, which we saw as a combined value area low of many sessions. Okay, the selling activity happened in one particular place. Now let's see how this zone works, whether it goes down from here or goes up. Again, there was some light selling ahead. Now within this candle, some buying was observed at 43K. And where exactly was this buying observed? Here at 73, 76K bank. Like, in the first two candles, the sellers took their time, but continued selling at one particular place. In the second and fourth candles, what happened was that an aggressive buyer entered there, ahead. There was selling within the same zone. Again, buyers entered within the same zone. Now, this zone has broken to the upside. To the upside. Look here, there was one closing. See another close, or you can see that the market stayed above that zone for 15 to 20 minutes. This is the zone where sellers first tried, then aggressive buyers entered, because I'm calling them aggressive buyers here because look, an order was placed at 76, and after that, the market stayed above it. So the question was that selling happened, but after the selling, the market did not come down. So that means all this selling was absorbed here. Whenever selling is absorbed, instead of acting as resistance, it tends to work quite a lot as support. Okay, and what was the solid confirmation? The selling was absorbed in the buyer center. After that, there was a breakout to the upside in this zone. So there was a quick movement. The selling was absorbed. Some aggressive buyers entered, broke the zone to the upside, held well for 15 to 20 minutes. And we saw a quick movement from the value area low to the value area high. Yesterday, someone might have asked a question. What is the value area high and what is the value area low? When a node becomes quite large, we divide it into two parts: value area high and value area low. Okay, and the play also happens between these nodes, which was quite good today. In between, there was a significant amount of buying observed. A substantial amount of buying at 41, which gives a confirmation that yes, you can stay in the trade. Up to this point, it was the buying of this candle. The buying at 50 again shows a positive delta, and the 40 has gone above 30. Buying at 58. But this buying is still around the resistance. So if any buying happens, the better option is for the value area high to break. Okay. Buying happened, but it broke on the downside. So there was a slight indication of a pull that the buying was somewhat absorbed further ahead. Again, we got another positive candle with a decent delta, and buying activity happened here. Again. As we saw within this candle, the delta of 47 on the delta side positive. Where are more buyers? Where are more buyers? Here, the most buyers. What happened here? After this buying activity, the market stayed down. A selling was happening after the first two candles, but then it broke to the upside. So selling occurred. But why did the market go up? Because the selling was absorbed here, buying activity took place. And after the buying, what happened was that Nifty stayed below that buying zone. It didn't go above even once. Look, man. There was a buy here as well. The next few candles went below that buying zone. So, it means that buying has occurred, but it's not solid enough to form a trend. Like when buying happened at 76. Okay, the market didn't go down in the next few candles. Okay, so this is perfect buying. A buy occurred. It held during the pullback, and here it stayed below that buying zone. And in the next candles, as soon as it faced resistance, a buying opportunity was observed. After the buying opportunity, again the market came to the support there, from the value area high to the value area low. Now, above the value area low, we saw some significant selling. Look, around 30. And what are their zones? It's around 30. Again. Okay, selling at 30. Again means selling at 30. As soon as it was touching the value area low, we saw two instances of selling in between. Again, either Nifty goes above the selling zone. Then we can say that yes, we will see up to here, as long as these selling zones are respected. The chances of Nifty going up are very low because the price has continued to move with selling. There wasn't much selling exhaustion seen anywhere. Again, the pullback held, and this support zone broke. Now, as soon as this support zone broke, after this support zone broke, but significant, confirmation was observed. Like this value, area, low, that broke. The biggest selling of the day was observed, I think. It was seen in the first candle with a delta of 71. But there is usually a lot of volume in the first candle. Here, a very solid observation was made. The data for 69 shows what is on the selling side. Okay, where are the sellers most concentrated? At 46, 30, and 21. If we simply mark the selling zones, look at this, just 1 minute. Simply mark the selling zones. Look at this. 1. There was a very solid pullback, and according to the delta, there was no buying anywhere, just one candle. Around 6,000 delta, selling. How much was the buying? Around 70,000. There was no buying interest anywhere, around 6,000. That zone was respected well during the pullback time, and after being respected, we saw another downside move. Okay, now there are two things here. There was selling, but did it go down after the selling? No, it didn't. So, this means the selling was absorbed here. This selling marked the selling zone again. Look, the next few candles held well below, meaning this selling was not absorbed here. Now, this selling can act as resistance. We saw an example of a selling objection, and an example when aggressive sellers were more powerful. If we look at today's overall Nifty, sellers were absorbed, some buyers entered. We gave a move up to the Valeria high. There was a good amount of buying absorption at the Valeria high. A pullback happened. The main thing is that for the next 20 minutes, it held without any buying interest. Sellers entered here, which gave some confirmation that yes, this is a support zone. It will be a bit difficult to break from here, and it broke quite well. The same value area low. With solid selling and a pullback came. A good solid pullback or solid pullback without any buying interest held. And we saw a downside movement. This was today's Nifty analysis. Okay. Now let's see Bank Nifty. What confirmation did it give us here? If we look at Bank Nifty, there was only one place where volume was seen today, and that was from 10:15 to 10:30. Now, what happened in between? Let's see. A positive delta of 21K, not just on the buyer's side. 21K buying happened again, 15K buying happened again, and 10K buying happened again. If we mark this buying zone, only this buying zone, it happened within just 40 points. Now, what happened after this buying? It came down 10 meters, broke to the downside, held somewhere. This buying was seen here. After that, no buying was seen anywhere. A pullback came. Look, there is some negative delta. Around 8, 10, 8, 10 negative data. And easily there. The buying absorption area, which will work as resistance, took a pullback, held, and then a sharp downside. And then light selling continued throughout the day and gave a downside movement. Okay, this was Bank Nifty's. So, this was today's quick analysis of Nifty and Bank Nifty. Now, whoever has questions, please unmute yourself and ask.